people. Welcome to Faith Weather Today. Having an awesome here with you today. Fine Wednesday in my world. Today, lots of busy, exciting things on my calendar for today. So we'll see how this all goes. We're going to kick it off with Bill Maloney's short and sweet quote, "Peace and joy." Wow, I did not read this one ahead of time, so I'll probably stumble more than usual. One 12-step friend closes a visit or conversation by wishing us peace and joy. It's a simple blessing, but what more could anyone want than peace and joy? Peace comes from knowing we've tried our best to love and care about ourselves and others, that we've tried to make the world a better place, that we have our relationships, including the one with our higher power. Being perfect is not a prerequisite to finding peace. In fact, perfectionism usually destroys any chance of peace. When we are at peace with ourselves, our higher power, and the world, joy follows. There is joy in welcoming another sunrise or sunset. There is joy in a phone call from a friend, in going to a meeting and telling someone I love you. Nothing fancy, elaborate, or grand, just simple peace and joy. How wonderful to have them, even if only for a few minutes, hours, or days. Sobriety has a wonderful way of helping these things happen. Today, may I find peace and joy in my recovery, and may I share them and wish them for others. Peace and joy. My first thinking, and I'm sorry this is going to sound bad, but my first thinking when I see peace and joy is like Merry Christmas, which is totally not all that, the only time of year that we should hear those words, peace and joy. When I think of peace right away, I do think of serenity, and it's true. When we stop gambling, some of these things can show up. Trying our best to love and care about ourselves and others, like that's a whole lot easier to do if we're not chasing or in action. That we've tried to make the world a better place. I know that when I'm not gambling, I obviously have a little bit more financial freedom, so I'm able to donate if I need to or want to, whatever the language would be around that. And even if it wasn't financial, I could donate things, I could donate time, I can, just show up in the world as a nicer person to make the world a better place. It doesn't have to be monetary. We tried our best with our relationships, and relationships are very important. Socialization is a big deal for a lot of people. And I didn't get to catch everything last night, but Justin from Blue October is still focused on recovery topics on his Tuesday night sessions. And I caught about 5 minutes of it, but it was on boundaries. And that's definitely one of the things that I think, well, at least Justin and I are aligned in as far as, being in a little bit longer term recovery, that these boundaries in relationships are so important, because that relationship with ourself has to be first. We have to be protecting our sanity and our recovery at all costs. And sometimes it involves choosing the relationships we're in. And then also to have relationships and loving ourselves and loving the other people is how we show up to those. And are we honest? Are we communicating well? Are we forgiving? Are we loving? All those things. And making the world a better place, including the relationship with your higher power. So whatever that looks like. If you're a universe person like me, then meditating becomes part of that, and the reading and the just sitting still. If it's God, that's your higher power. That may be church for you, or reading the Bible, or I have to remember we're international, or I'm drawing a blank. the literature associated with your beliefs in alignment with your higher power and your God. Being perfect is not a prerequisite for finding peace. Like, what a nice statement, right? We don't have to be perfect. We just have to be trying. And it's a whole lot easier to try when we're not digging in a hole because our bucket's full of our negative shit and we're gambling, using, drinking, whatever the case may be. When we're at peace with ourselves, our higher power, and the world, joy follows. And it's crazy how even in early recovery, like you can see someone who hasn't gambled for a week and they get their first paycheck that they haven't, gambled away, or just the fog in their brain starts to lift a little and they, their eyes start to open to the world. That's the beginning of the joy coming. There's joy in welcoming another sunrise or sunset. Like, could you appreciate that when you were gambling? I know for me, if I made it till morning after an all-nighter, like that sun was the last thing I wanted to see. I wanted to go to bed. I didn't want the sun in my eyes. I definitely didn't appreciate the beauty or the magnitude of it. Joy in a phone call from a friend. I saw something else recently where, and again, only a little blurb of it, but this man is talking about, the one thing you could do today, like when's the last time that you texted someone just, hey, I'm thinking about you, or I do it once in a while on my Facebook wall, on other people's Facebook walls. I'll just drop them a note like, hey, I love you, or hey, you popped in my head, or whatever, just to let them know they're being thought about in random ways. Because, if you're anything like me, you probably think of people, lots of different people throughout the day. It's just take it that one step further. And when you say, oh, geez, I should really call that person, even if you don't have the time to jump on the call, just send them a text. Hey, we should catch up soon. Or, hey, you're on my mind. Goes a far, far way. And in a world where so many people are depressed and sad and suicidal and struggling and, all those things, that little acknowledgement of people's existence can go a long way. And sending that hello and that love will also bring you great joy. It's amazing how much joy we get from the things that we give versus get. Telling someone you love them, going to a meeting, just simple peace and joy is the way this reads. Even if only for a few minutes, hours, or days, it says. Today, may I find peace and joy in my recovery, and may I share them and wish them for others. And I absolutely do, guys. I wish for peace and joy for you, and me, and everybody, for the world. If we all had peace and joy, gosh, especially in this day and age with all the stuff, peace and joy would definitely simplify a lot of things, I think. So I'm wishing you a joyful day and a peaceful day. I will try to integrate peace and joy into my day, even though I anticipate it being a little bit of a hectic day. And that's what I got for you today, my beautiful people. So have a happy hump day, and I will talk to you sometime tonight. Thanks.